What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate, reverse rants, no hate. So, all right, I want to talk about this because the last video I made, I needed some responses. So I could make this video, which we're talking about legendary fighters and how people are ranked as legends, right? The problem with anything is when there's bias, when there's just dishonest people and things of that nature. This is why, like when I say, take skin color out of it, take everything out of it, and just look at the fighter themselves. Okay? I got 2 responses that were perfect for me to make this video, because now I can address the responses. At least it's only 2 at this point, and make my point even more clear for those who didn't get it. The first response was the best and the most accurate and honest response, because that response said, because of how I worded everything in the video, from the thumbnail to the way I worded it, like what I'm actually looking for from you guys, he said it makes it more difficult now, and he brought other points into you know, as a like example, and you know why I love that response, because that's exactly what I'm looking at. It's easy to say, like the other response was Mike Tyson in his prime. This was about the video with Usyk and Tyson. I never really asked so much who would beat who in the fight, but I know that that's always going to be something people want to throw in there. Okay, which is fine. But I'm saying, who was the more skilled between the two? You know, who did it longer, right? And who fought the better fighters of their generation? Who beat those the better fighters of their generation? Like all of those type of things. Let me explain why I did it. Then I'll get back to the responses. The reason why I did this last year, okay, for the same, pretty much for the similar reason. There was a few differences, but the reason why I did this is because, one, Mike Tyson is still fighting. Okay, I mean Usyk is still fighting. 2, when I look at what Usyk accomplished and when I look at what Mike accomplished, right, I listen to the things that people say about why this guy's better than this guy and why this guy can't be an all-time great or whatever. But it's, as always, it always varies with whether they like the guy or not. That's not my concern. I don't care who you like. It's not about who I like. That's the whole point of what I'm saying. Look at the 2 fighters and look at their careers. The other response was, in their primes, Mike all day. I'm the one guy that told you there's guys from back in the day that I wouldn't put Usyk over. But because there's no such thing as a time machine, okay, I can't go back in time and prove that, which is why it's irrelevant when we sit and dwell on this guy in his prime, this guy in his prime. And see, here's what my issue with the prime thing. This is what makes it difficult for Mike Tyson and anybody else in that matter. This isn't about leaning towards Usyk, and it's not about leaning towards Mike. It's looking at the facts. When you say Mike in his prime, right? Okay, that means Mike did not end his career in his prime. We know this. When you say Mike in his prime, you got to understand, Mike fought for years after his so-called prime. So what you're referring to is at his very best. It's still opinions. But you know that Mike Tyson couldn't compete with Usyk. The Mike Tyson that fought Lennox Lewis would get destroyed by Usyk. The Mike Tyson that fought Evander Holyfield will get destroyed by Usyk. Now, how old was Mike? In his early 30s? He was in his 36 when he fought, I think when he fought Lewis, but him and Lewis the same age. So my point is, the very age that Mike, you're saying that you know he couldn't compete with Usyk at, he got destroyed by Lennox. Why was Lennox able to do it into 38 successfully? Now, we know his last fight was with Klitschko, the older brother. Here's the thing about it. I said Lewis needed to rematch that dude Why? I think people exaggerated with how Lewis, listen, they both was kicking each other's ass. But he was, to me, getting the better of Lewis. But people was exaggerating it because they made it sound like Lewis wasn't landing no fucking shots. Like he just got cut in the night. Well, no, they was both giving it to each other. But Lewis retired. You know why I respect that? Because if Lewis would have went on and fought a lesser opponent, you know, or someone, you know, then what does that prove? And it looks like you're afraid of Klitschko. Now, my thing is, if you're past your prime, like just say if a guy was in his prime, right, from 1985 to 1990, if that motherfucker went from 1990 to 2003, and you sit there talking about prime, like, no, we're not going to do that. That would be like saying, okay, that would be similar, because Mike didn't suck with the Wizards. He just wasn't the same Mike, of course. He was older and not, you know, far from what he used to be. So let's look at it like this. Do we just cut off Michael Jordan's success with the Wizards? Because he was still doing some incredible shit. So we just going to add his years with the Bulls and not the Wizards? Now, let's just say, for example, a guy like Tracy McGrady was putting up more, let's say if he was putting up better numbers than Michael Jordan when Mike was 39 and 40 years old. Now, let's say he sticks around until he's 39 and 40 years old. You was getting the better of an older player that was no longer in his prime years. We already know that. But now when you got 39 and 40, just say you sucked. Now you'd be willing to compare their whole careers then, right? So that's my whole point. That's what I'm not doing. The whole in his prime. No, the thing is, Usyk is still fighting, and at the highest level, at an age that Mike Tyson completely fell off at. See, this is what I'm saying. That's why I respect the first answer, because he's like, this makes it really more difficult. Yes, because I'm making you motherfuckers think, not just go with a couple of visions in your head of Mike knocking somebody out or Usyk outboxing somebody and doing it. No, let's look at everything. Because if that's the case, we're doing nothing no different. For anybody can just say, oh, I like that motherfucker, throw that nigga in the Hall of Fame. Who did he beat? I don't know, but I like him. He wear nice outfits. Look at his gloves. No, what criteria are we using? This is what I'm talking about. Everybody come up with this, well, my criteria, no, that's the whole point. That's why it's fucked up, because everybody has their own fucking criteria. That's why I specifically put up what I put up and said what I said, because we got to look at a person's whole career, man. We can't look at in his prime. How many times have I said to you guys? You guys would say shit like from 85 to 88, this guy was untouchable. Okay, but then the guy go on and fight for another fucking 17 years. So do those years count, or only the wins in those years count? That's what I'm telling you guys. I'm trying to make you think, family. I want you to use your heads and not just go by what you feel. Anybody can say that shit, man. Do you guys understand when I say we grew up watching Bruce Lee as kids, and Bruce Lee, like, of course, by the time we saw Bruce Lee movies, he was dead, and we were, but bottom line, we was like, Bruce was that guy. And Bruce had such an impact on people, and all these legendary mystical Goku fights with the superpowers and all this bullshit, and Bruce levitating in the air, playing ping pong with nunchuck, and y'all believe all this shit. And then y'all start saying Bruce can actually beat pro fighters, and Bruce was not a pro fighter. So when I say what was Bruce's record, everybody always had that stupid look on their face like, the fuck, motherfucker, what was his pro record? Because he wasn't a pro fighter. I don't give a fuck about but even Jim Kelly said, or I don't give a fuck what they say about some fight he had in some dojos or some other kung fu senseis or whatever. I don't give a fuck about that. I said, what was his fucking pro fighting record? Because none of them motherfuckers ain't got no pro fighting record either. And none of that shit is recorded for us to see. None of that shit, all this is, everybody wants to make somebody larger than life. That's what they do. Like when they did the story of Mike Tyson, people said, we didn't know who this guy was. We didn't know anything about him. But when we looked at him and what he was doing, it's like, let's, the guy's telling you, like, when we talk about him, let's talk about him like this is the greatest thing we've ever seen. We never saw anything like this. They're telling them what to say. Because we want to see if we can push this guy to be something special. And all of a sudden, Mike became this household name, like, yo, this dude is, but then it's like, look at who he was fighting. Do you understand what I'm saying? So when we look at the categories of who did what the longest, and here's the thing, mind you, Mike Tyson fought for 19 years, pro. Usyk is in his 12th year right now. So what he accomplished in a shorter time, then you look at, okay, the accomplishments. Did they do this against the very best guys in their division? Usyk is also undefeated. You understand? But he has less fights than Mike Tyson as well, like way less. Usyk only had like 20-something fights. Mike is like 50-something fights. But bottom line, what I'm telling you is, when you look at the person's career, the criteria is really not hard. What makes it hard for people is they don't want to be honest when they feel like the fighter that they want to favor is lacking in areas where, okay, advantage goes to the other guy. And this is why people always go prime for prime. Nobody's talking about, no, we talking about their whole career. Prime for prime is a different conversation. I didn't say anything about a prime for prime. We're talking about the whole career. And I mean, for every fighter. See, part of the reason we can't enjoy shit is because everything has to be a comparison, to the point where people want to take shortcuts and stop, instead of looking at what the fuck is in front of us. Example, you could take two restaurants. Both restaurants can be equally successful, turning profit every year and doing extremely well. Both franchises could have been neck and neck for like 20 years straight. Let's say going into that 21st year, all the way up until like 40 years later. One franchise could have left the other one in the dust. Better recipes, different types of foods that the other one is just like same old thing all the time. Now all of a sudden, like, think about when you go to a restaurant as a kid. Remember when McDonald's had all the characters? This generation don't even know about the Hamburglar and Ronald McDonald and all. They don't even know those characters. They don't even know nothing about them. And remember how McDonald's would have like statues of the characters outside, and you as a kid wanted to play. They had the big ball pit and the slide ball, all that shit, had the little playland. So McDonald's is like the place to go, right? For a little kid. So if Burger King didn't have that, if White Castle didn't have that, no, fuck that. McDonald's is, right? You understand what I'm saying? But then, years later, like I said, kids don't know nothing about that. I don't know the score, but Burger King could be kicking McDonald's ass right now. You understand what I'm saying? But that's my point, is way back then, right? Now, let's say if both franchises went out of business, but let's say Burger King went out of business 10 years after McDonald's. They're going to look at the money that was made. That's what they're going to look at, profits as a franchise globally, all that kind of shit. And they're going to look at, you know what? But there's going to be a lot of shit that they don't fucking evaluate. Like me saying how they had to play the area and all that. Now it's like, okay, cool. We can sit down and eat, let our kids play, this, that, whatever. You understand what I'm saying? It's always something that people are not looking at. If you don't have kids, then you don't give a fuck about that. You probably not even paying attention to the fact they got a play area for the kids and all that. You understand what I'm saying? It's just like you go to a hair salon, and that hair salon got a play area for the kids and this and that. Oh shit! Now I can go to the mall because they got ShopRite connected to the mall. Oh, the hair salon is connected to the mall. I can get my nails there. I can do everything there. I can put my kid in the play area. You understand what I'm saying? It applies to somebody. If you ain't got no kids, you don't give a fuck about that. So this is what I'm saying. We have to look at the criteria the right way. I gave you the categories. Prime for prime is not one of them. That's what I'm trying to get you guys to understand. We're not talking about from this year to this year. We're looking at your whole fucking career. Once again, the reason people resort to prime for prime is because they know at a certain point, this dude couldn't compete anymore. So it's like comparing Ray Leonard to Floyd. That's why it's same player. Even when you say when it comes to Ray Leonard and Floyd, I don't give a fuck if you go prime for prime. There's no guarantee about Sugar would have okay, whatever. Because let's not forget, I seen Sugar get dropped by Kevin Howard and struggled to beat Kevin fucking Howard. And Kevin Howard ain't nearly as good as no fucking Floyd Mayweather. And at the end of the day, what I'm saying about that is, he got his ass whooped at 34 years old by Terry Norris, right? Now check this out. Floyd has never retired due to an opponent. It was him, he had his jail situation, then he had a situation of, let me let my hands heal, let my body heal. Ray Leonard retired after the Kevin Howard fight because he was like, I didn't like the way I fought, and I felt like I don't think I got it no more. You see what I'm saying? His reason for retiring was different. So he was doubting himself. Those are strengths and weaknesses that people don't want to apply into this to think like, okay, because if a guy's doubting himself just a little bit, that can cost him the fight. How many times we seen Sugar Ray Leonard get knocked down in the fight? How many times we seen Floyd get knocked down in the fight? You understand what I'm saying? So this is the point. And when Floyd came back at 40 and beat Conor McGregor for that $300 million, well, Sugar Ray came back and fought Camacho at 40 and got his ass whooped. And at that point, Camacho couldn't compete with the elite guys at that with the age he was when he fought Ray. Camacho wasn't an elite fighter. Camacho was around just fighting leftovers. That's what he was. You understand what I'm saying? And that shit ended in like 4 rounds. So this is what I'm saying. You can and when you look at how sharp Floyd stayed all the way the entire time, even now. So my point is, well, if you compared them from their very first year to their last, you got to stop comparing them in terms of fighting elite level guys at 34 for Ray Leonard, because he retired and he got his ass whooped. At 34, Ray Leonard, Floyd was knocking out a dirty headbutting fucking Victor Ortiz. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like when you look at pound for pound, you look at prime for prime, all this different shit. It's like, no, we're not taking any shortcuts to try to give anybody the advantage. We're looking at what you did your whole fucking career. It's as simple as that. Now the difference in and this is what I'm saying, this is why it makes it more difficult. But you guys love to compare current fighters to fighters that's retired. So how do you do that without looking at everything that's going on? And a fighter's still fighting, so we can't finalize his career yet. Now let's say right now Usyk hang it up. Now, okay, we know what he's done, and he's still undefeated. Now let's say he go out and then he beat Joseph Parker as well. Okay, wait a minute. Think about the guy saying, yeah, but Usyk, okay, so he beat AJ, right? He beat Fury, he beat Dubois, right? He beat Chisora, he beat Witherspoon, right? Now, you got to look at his whole cruiserweight, career as well, right? Now, somebody go, yeah, but that's only 5 people. Okay, wait a minute. Deontay Wilder never fought Daniel Dubois, never fought Anthony Joshua, never fought Derek Chisora. You understand what I'm saying? Now he fights Joseph Parker, gets his ass whooped. He fights Zhang, gets his ass whooped. And what do everybody say? Oh, it's because he's old. So do you understand the point, what I'm saying? So now compare Deontay Wilder to a 38-year-old Lennox Lewis. You understand what I'm saying? Like, okay, could he compete? No. No version of Deontay Wilder beats Lennox Lewis, as far as I'm concerned. But my point, what I'm saying, how do you make excuses for Wilder? If you discredit Usyk saying he only beat X amount of people, right, to try to discredit him, how the fuck do you give credit to Wilder when he didn't fight the same guys other than Fury? And then he lost to all the top dudes. You understand what I'm saying? He lost to those guys. What does his age have to do with it? He's still fighting right now. So if a guy's washed up, if a guy's not the same fighter and he doesn't know when to call it quits, whose problem is that? And that's why you guys resort to the prime for prime. This is what I'm saying. Some of y'all don't get it, and some of y'all do. That's the fallacy that we keep making. Because a person's whole career, like just say, for example, if a motherfucker is 25 years old right now, he fight a dude 35. Now let's say the 35-year-old win a split decision. Now, neither guy got really beat the fuck up. It was a chess match, so both guys are good. Nobody, he's not the same since the loss, right? Everybody's good. Now, let's just say the fan favorite is the 25-year-old. He's the new young guy. Everybody want to see him win. Now, all of y'all getting y'all feelings and go, oh, man, he only 25 years old. He's only going to get better. He didn't peak yet. Okay, now that's your excuse, right? But let's just say, fight after fight after fight, he doesn't get better. He's the same guy. Now, he's fighting top dudes and winning, but he just doesn't get better. You understand what I'm saying? That 35-year-old is beating other opponents easier than he's beating him. Does it change their fight? No. They had a split decision. But his experience is what's doing it. So he's still a better fighter overall. Now, let's say that guy that was 25 when he's 35, he's losing to guys that he normally would have beat. He's losing to guys that the 35-year-old beat. You understand what I'm saying? Now you start to see this 25-year-old differently. Because you go, now when you look at the whole career, okay, he actually lost to this 35-year-old when he was 25. That 35-year-old was able to sustain all the way into 40. The 25-year-old was able to sustain up until about 34, 33. Because at 35, you know, he couldn't beat these top guys anymore. You see the point, what I'm saying? So now you got to look and go, well, yeah, he was better than him when he was 35. Well, shit, he beat him when he was 25. And if you're saying it's because he didn't peak yet, well, no, he did peak. So he got as good as he was going to. You, as a fan, said he's only going to get better. He's only 25. You see the point what I'm saying? So you got to look at a person's whole career. We can't fucking when did we start doing this bullshit with this prime for prime? Like no, I know where that comes from. No, it's not about prime for prime. It's about your career. Like I said, prime for prime is a different conversation. That's not where my head is right now. I'm not thinking about when he was this age and that age. No. And like I said, Usyk got a later start. He accomplished more in a shorter period of time. Now, when you look at Usyk's top 5 wins, look at Mike Tyson's top 5 wins. Here we go. It's subjective with who people going to think is better than who. But that's why you got to look at the generation. What was that guy ranked when you beat him? Right? And you got to understand, Usyk dethroned champions. Usyk did what people didn't think he could do. And another thing, let's remember this. If Usyk never fights Tyson Fury, you couldn't convince probably 10 people that, you know what I'm saying, that Usyk would have been able to beat Fury. Everybody, from Teddy Atlas, all your so-called expert analysis, the people at TalkSport, everybody had made up in their mind. Derek Chisora, all of them, they made up in their mind, Tyson Fury is the best fighter out there. He's just too good. Too big, too strong. Usyk is too small. Ali, Frazier, all these guys would have been too small. Fury is he's just that good. Wasn't good old Aries telling you, I don't see it. I think Usyk beats him. He's not as good as Usyk. The best thing Fury can do is keep it long and try to win a boring fight. Why? Because the more he exerts himself, the tired he's going to get. He don't have the gas tank that Usyk has. Did I not tell you motherfuckers that? And I told you. The thing is, Usyk knows how to adapt and adjust to what you're doing. And is it ironic that a 6'9", 273-pound guy was fighting a smaller 6'3", 230-pound guy on the back fucking foot? Now think about it. Think about it. This isn't a flex. This is I'm observing. Shit can still go differently from the way you observe it, the way you think it's going to go. But what happened? The smaller guy had the bigger guy, so-called stronger, on the back foot. The little middleweight had the big guy on the back foot. Haven't you ever heard that saying? A good big man always beats a good little man? And I told you that's bullshit. And look at what happened. But if they didn't fight, the history books would tell you Fury was the superior fighter to Usyk. Now question, what fucking criteria were they using to judge that? Because they were fucking wrong. So we're using our own fucking heads. We don't need people to tell us who's who. This is what I'm telling you. I keep proving these motherfuckers. No, these people keep proving themselves wrong. I keep telling you guys, when we're looking at these fighters, along with the eye test, be honest about a person's career. Anthony Joshua is not my fucking brother, not my cousin. He's not my family. Why would I care if he lose? Like, even if I'm rooting for him, if he lose, okay, he lose. I lose no sleep over it. That's the difference with fans and people who just don't know how to judge shit. They think that they have to be told by somebody with a suit and a fucking tie and a microphone in front of a camera on some network. No. I told all you guys, and you know it. I told you flat out I'm picking Usyk to win. Rematch, I'm picking Usyk to win. And I explained to you why I think Usyk was going to win. And didn't he fight Fury? Didn't it go, the fight go the way I said it was going to go? And I said Usyk is too smart to stay on the outside. He knows he don't have the reach. He has the speed advantage, but if he's at the distance that Fury needs him, he makes it easier for Fury to keep him out there. Usyk is going to have to get inside. And the thing about it, Fury has to get his feet planted, and with him with the longer arms, it takes away from his advantage of keeping it long. And he's going to be finding himself on inside fights with a shorter guy that basically this favors Usyk. Usyk is faster, Usyk is smarter. Tyson Fury is no devastating puncher. He's just a big guy. He has to plant his feet to get power behind his shots. You think Usyk's going to stand there and wait for it? You understand what I'm saying? And if he does, he's going to parry that shit. Usyk is smarter than Fury. How did the fight play out? Now, do you think that Usyk beat Fury with smarts or just physicality? He did it with both. And in fact, Fury never wobbled Usyk, but Usyk almost knocked him the fuck out. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying, guys? So yeah, if that fight never happened, you couldn't believe me, it wouldn't even been close. Who wins this fight if they fought? Imagine Usyk and Fury being a fantasy fight. Just think about how many people would have picked Fury. See, this is what I'm saying. But we got the fight. And look at what happened. The complete opposite of what the majority thought was going to happen. So even like when people are doing this shit with that, like, you know something, and don't be short-sighted. Isn't it funny that nobody compares Pacquiao to Ray Leonard or Hearns or Hagler or Duran or Andre Ward or Muhammad Ali or Roy Jones or anybody else or Gennady Golovkin? These motherfuckers compare Floyd to everybody and every weight class that he never even fought in. But they compare. Why? The hatred shows the level of greatness. That's what they hate. Why is nobody fucking comparing Pacquiao? Why is nobody comparing, Oscar De La Hoya? Why is nobody saying who wins, Oscar or Ray? Oscar or Duran? Why is nobody? I was probably the only person that did that little trivia shit on my channel. Why nobody? It's always Floyd. Just like when NBA players come into the NBA. Who was the first person that they always, and pretty much the only one, that's always a debate, a GOAT battle? It's always Jordan. Ain't nobody fucking compare. I mean, you got to be pathetic to sit here and compare Floyd Mayweather to a fucking heavyweight. Light heavyweights. Why? This is because you can't think of anybody that can really beat this dude, so we got to find somebody much bigger and stronger. This is where your brain is going. You're trying to find somebody that has a clear advantage. Who wins in their prime? Roy Jones versus Floyd Mayweather. Well, if you're an idiot that says Floyd prime was when he was at 130 pounds, well, he would never be able to fight Roy. He's too small. You understand what I'm saying? So because they had words in their prime, it's like, wow, you guys are pathetic, man. Here's a guy that never even fought at 160. Now, here's what I'm saying, though. Even when you're doing this comparison, let me show you how one-sided it is. If y'all talking about how much of a super fighter Roy Jones was, why y'all don't compare Roy Jones to heavyweights? Oh, because he wasn't a natural heavyweight. Okay, motherfucker. So why are you comparing him to a welterweight? But he went up and fought bum-ass John Ruiz and got a belt, right? So my point, why are you not comparing a prime Roy to a prime Mike? Why are you not comparing a prime Roy to a fucking prime Lennox Lewis? Why you understand, and so forth? Why are you not comparing him to other heavyweights? That's one guy who fought at heavyweight, but they never compare him to other heavyweights. Why are you not comparing Roy Jones to Muhammad Ali? But you're comparing Floyd Mayweather to. See, that's my point. It's like you don't even understand. It's not just a hatred thing. It's a bias, it's a hatred, and it's a complete stupidity because when you sit here and compare, Floyd got y'all attention that much that y'all are comparing him to everybody. You're not comparing Roy Jones to Ezzard Charles and Sonny Liston and Floyd Patterson and Archie Moore. No, you comparing little fucking Floyd. So if his impact is not as great as Roy's, why are you comparing him? Roy said he can beat anybody. He said he would have beat Mike Tyson in his prime and anybody else they put in front of him. So why y'all don't compare Roy to all these people? Why y'all not comparing Roy to Pacquiao? Oh, but even Pacquiao said a prime Roy beats. Who gives a fuck what Pacquiao said? Pacquiao told you he beat fucking Floyd. Okay, so who cares? That's my hope. Of course, it's always somebody that got their ass whooped by Floyd want to tell you who else could beat Floyd. The funny thing about it, though, is even when guys like Ray Leonard tell you, I can't even see anybody beating Floyd. I myself will have to empty my whole toolbox to beat Floyd. You got to figure it. I mean, it's not easy. But you tell Ray, no, you would have beat him. You would have did this and that to him. I know you would have. You know Ray better than Ray know himself. So we talk about when you start saying who's legendary, who's this, who's that. What I gave you guys in the thumbnail and what I said about how you look at guys, you know, as being legends and how you compare these guys. Again, it makes the most sense because even if we go with giving our thoughts on who we think would have won, it's irrelevant. Just for the simple fact that, like I said, there's no such thing as a time machine and we can't make that happen. And you know also why it sounds stupid to make this prime for prime talk? Floyd Mayweather is so much sharper than Roy Jones right now. If Floyd Mayweather said, you know what, fuck it, come down to 175, Roy. Come down to 175. I'll come up to about 165 or 160, right? Let's just say. Or if he said, fuck it, let's go. Little Floyd going in school Roy Jones. You want to know what y'all going to say? Well, in his prime. No, stop it. Because neither one of them are in their primes right now. But if you compare prime for prime, if you compare, see, that's the thing. Floyd never fell off. So like I said, which version of Floyd, it just depends on which style he used to whoop your ass. Pretty Boy or Money Mayweather style. He never been knocked out. Roy gets knocked out with one punch. Not even a combination, just one punch. Floyd's never been knocked out. So the biggest thing y'all can say against Floyd is, oh, he got wobbled twice against Shane. So what? And he stood up like a fucking trooper, held on to that motherfucker like he was supposed to, and told him, you're going to have to kill me. I ain't going nowhere. And what happened? Yeah. He took the fight out of Shane. Shane going to tell you, he had injuries. Okay, right. You snowboarding and playing basketball before major fights. Well, that's your own stupidity. What that got to do with anybody else? It's always an excuse, right? So when we start talking about, and let me say this, everybody you like ain't no goddamn legend or no damn all-time great just because you like them. Especially when it's, oh, we from the same country. So fucking what? I like Kevin Pompey as a fighter. Y'all probably, who? Who the fuck is Kevin Pompey? Exactly. You never hear me really talk about Kevin Pompey. I've mentioned his name a couple of times. But Kevin Pompey, I like him as a fighter, but man, there's a whole lot of dudes that could beat Kevin Pompey. Kevin Pompey I liked his style as a fighter. I think he was solid in that ring. But my whole thing is, just like I said, everybody that you like, you want to put them on a pedestal. Nah, man. It's not how it goes. So this is what we do. We look at a fighter's whole career. And if we did that, it would help us to enjoy the sport a lot more. And we just focused on, hey, all right, so like Usyk did his thing, he retired, cool. Who's next? You understand what I'm saying? That's how it goes. I personally don't give a fuck. I'm not looking for the next person to compare. Yo, who you think would have won, him or Usyk? I don't care personally. And this is what we all really should do. But it always comes down to a comparison. If a fucking rapper comes out with an album right now, it's a hot album. 2 months from now, another rapper come out. Yo, who you think better? It's like, man, just enjoy the fucking album. That's all. Stop with all the comparisons. Because now it goes from, yo, he dope as fuck too. Yo, he hot, nah, but that nigga, but he really can't rap, though. Well, yo, know what you mean? Oh, this nigga booty as hell. His hooks be trash. Now, y'all just went from saying both of them got nice albums, but now because you saying this guy's better, you start to find fault in this guy. And it becomes a big pussy-ass conversation. Like, why are we arguing over these motherfucking men? You know, when I say we, I don't mean me. I don't do that shit. That's y'all bullshit. I'm saying, overall, if we look at these fighters, like for me, my attitude is this. I watch these sports and I just enjoy a great fucking fight. You know what I mean? So when I watch, I'm really not watching these motherfuckers. Like I said, I do that shit for fun. And I haven't done it in a while, but I do it for fun. I'm really not watching these motherfuckers sitting up here going in my think tank going, I wonder if he could have beat Ali. I wonder it. Nah. Ali's time has come and gone. Mike Tyson's time has come and gone. Evander Holyfield's time has come and gone. Usyk is still here, but sooner or later, his time is going to go away. And it's going to be somebody after him, somebody after him. You understand what I'm saying? My favorite, if you want to say, the dude I want to see the most in the heavyweights is AJ. Am I sitting here trying to tell you that AJ is the best heavyweight out there? No, I can't do that and make sense of it. Because he got his ass whooped. Now, how I'm going to tell you he's better than Usyk? So if I say a focused AJ, I believe can be any of them. Here's the problem, though. Notice I'm not saying a prime AJ. I'm saying a focused AJ. Because he showed us what he can do when he's focused. But at the same time, that's a problem that AJ has. Just like a Terry Norris. Like, when is he going to lose his focus? I ain't never seen Terry look scared there, though. Terry, he just get too overzealous, too over anxious, and sometimes he's whooping a motherfucker ass so bad and so easy and just get careless. Like, for you to win every fucking round and then get knocked out is like, damn. You're dominating the motherfucker, right? So that's what I'm saying to you. Just because I like a fighter, I'm not sitting here telling you he or she's the best because I want them to be. If I say I think that person's the best, it's because of what they're showing me. You understand what I'm saying? So people got the potential to be the best, but it doesn't always happen, now does it? So what are we using? And that's what I'm talking about with this criteria shit, man. Stop letting these fucking, look, and first of all, there's no fucking experts. It's just people giving you their fucking opinions based, it's just like if you look at something as simple as somebody telling you, during the summertime, you should have, the air on in your house to 68. During the spring, say the spring or during the fall, it should be at 68. Now, if somebody tell you that's the temperature to put your shit at, but your ass is in there freezing, sneezing, and catching a cold, are you so stupid that you're going to sit here and go, well, I want to turn it up, but they said it should be on 68, and this is why I'm getting sick? Well, why don't you turn the fucking heat up? Well, because the paper says, what the paper says? Turn that motherfucker up to the temperature that makes you comfortable. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. So, let's treat boxing criteria like laws. Don't look at the green light and say, would you stop on the green light? Would you yield on a red light? You understand? Would you start driving on a red light? You understand what I'm saying? Would you come to a fucking complete stop sign on an amber light? So no, this is my point. The structure that should be there is always altered for favoritism for somebody. That's not what we're doing. That's why you don't hear me with this in his prime. I get sick of hearing that in his prime shit, and I don't like talking about in his prime because, like I said, as far as I'm concerned, the prime Ali beats everybody. But at the same time, I can't prove that, but I believe that. Now, is it necessary for me to try to convince you of that too? No, doesn't matter to me. I don't care. I don't care. As soon as Usyk beat Dubois, the very next day, I saw about 10 thumbnails. I didn't watch not one video. I didn't watch not one of the videos, but I saw like 10 different thumbnails. Usyk is the greatest of all time. Usyk is okay. You want to know what I'm not interested in doing? Debating that. I don't care. I don't know. I look, like I told you guys, I just want to give Usyk his props. And how he finishes, like I said, it would be cool to see him retire undefeated. Looking at what he did, how he defeated the odds every time. And the way he carries himself. Now, that being said, if Usyk retires, after, let's say he fight Joseph Parker and he beat Joseph Parker. Like I said, he don't even have to do that. It'll just be cool for Parker to finally get the shot because he keep getting overlooked. But what I'm saying, any champion after Usyk would be just an excuse. And that's what people going to say. If Usyk was it, and it's like, man, look, Usyk is not here anymore. Let that man enjoy his fucking title reign. You understand what I'm saying? Then you got people that start saying things and making claims and, okay, this guy say he's better than this guy. Or what do you think? Now everybody makes a video about it. It's like, and everybody gets so caught up into this shit. It's like, man, it really doesn't matter now, does it? It really just, it's all just opinions. what we should be focused on is who these guys can fight right now. For example, the Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl last year. Does it make sense for you to sit here as a Cowboy fan and go, they wouldn't have beat the 90s Cowboys? Now it's a debate. It's an argument. We will never fucking know, and it doesn't matter. You know what matters is who they can beat right now. That's what it comes down to. Every season is different. The team right now, the team you like is doing good. One day that team is going to suck dog ass. And you're going to be sitting there looking at this team like, damn, man, that's just the way it goes. That's just the way it is. Nothing stays the same forever. So all of this legendary talk, and like I broke down the Hall of Fame, bottom line, that's who's in the Hall of Fame, who's considered all-time greats. But like I said, because people debate it, they say just because you're in the Hall of Fame don't make you an all-time great. I get that. Why? Because there's fighters who ain't accomplished shit. But because the fans like them or because they got a country behind them or some bullshit, like, nah. How the fuck can this guy, like we talk about Margarito. I mean, not Margarito, Miguel Cotto. And people that feel like they agree with Roy that he's not an all-time great. He's only a good Puerto Rican fighter. It's like, okay, how the fuck, once again, in case you didn't see that video, how the fuck can you say Miguel Cotto is not an all-time great, but you said Paulie Malignaggi is, you said Zab Judah is, you said Shane Mosley is, and Miguel Cotto beat all of them. He beat all of them. I even heard somebody say, if you go 12 rounds with Pacquiao, you're an all-time great. Okay, I think that's bullshit, but if that's the case, well, he beat Joshua Clottey too. Yeah, and you understand what I'm saying? So what the fuck kind of shit is that? What kind of shit is that? If you go 12 rounds with Pacquiao, nah, stop it, man. And I know why that was said. Why? Because they know that when he fought that guy, everybody, that's when Texas Stadium, when Clottey went there and forgot that he could take his hands from off the side of his head and wouldn't throw no punches. And we like, why did Pacquiao fight this bum? Why? And remember, Joshua Clottey hit motherfucking Zab Judah to the body, and Zab pulled the fucking Usyk and pretend he got hit low. Got hit right in the balls, and you see the punch like, come on, Zab, stop. That was not, stop it, Zab. And Zab did that shit a couple of times. He did it against Amir Khan. He did it against Danny Garcia. He pretends to get hit to the balls. And then when they show the replay, you see that was nowhere near your balls, man. Stop it. So my point, man, when you start comparing and saying this guy's not an all-time great, you forget that guys that you said is all-time greats lost to this guy. And once again, Zab was 29. Cotto was 27. Shane was 34 when he fought Cotto. I think Cotto was 31 or whatever it was. But bottom line, it's like you can't use this age bullshit for no damn excuse. Same with Paulie. They were younger. It wasn't no old man situation, yet they're in the Hall of Fame. That's bullshit. So because Roy Jones tell you Miguel Cotto is not an all-time great, he's only a great Puerto Rican fighter, you accept it because Roy said it. And then when you start talking about who he lost to, that's my point. Well, look at who he won against. And the fact he's a 4-time 4-weight division champion. But that doesn't count for anything. Now, yeah, Martinez was up in age when he lost, and they admitted that. Yeah, we think we got him right where he wanted. But guess what? He was also champion. And yeah, he didn't look good like 2-3 straight fights. Look like himself. You can see him slipping. He's getting hit with shots he normally don't get hit with, and all that type of shit. But they were honest about it. Okay. But at the same fucking time, when what's his name? Yeah, like when Shane beat Margarito, they made it seem like Shane conquered the world. Then he got his ass kicked in his very next fight against Floyd, and all of a sudden he's an old man. Zab Judah beat Matisse. Yo, you got to give him his props. He's an all-time great, yo. Matisse ain't no joke. Matisse, Provodnikov, fighters like that, Mickey Ward, those guys that come forward, no, okay, whatever. I don't, bottom line. So it's not, like I said, you beat guys that you can beat. Like the guys that you beat, okay, these are the best guys on your resume. Cool. On whose fucking pound for pound list is Matisse on? You see the point what I'm saying? But at the same time, even Zab lost to Paulie Malignaggi. And Miguel Cotto beat all of them. So make that make sense. So what criteria are you using to say that Miguel Cotto is not an all-time great, but the guys that he beat, they are somehow. And not to mention, all of them have multiple losses as well. And they lost fights that you expected them to win. So this is my point. Do this without bias and without the influence of somebody that you think is some fucking expert, because for whatever reason, I guess whatever your lack of knowledge is, you think they got all the answers. It's not the way this shit works, people. Anyway, yeah, but that's the I knew somebody. I knew it. I said somebody's going to read the thumbnail. They're going to hear what I say, and they're still going to resort to in their prime or prime for. I knew that shit. Like I know fucking Friday comes after Thursday. Somebody was going to say it, but the first answer that I got was the most accurate. I respect that the most because that answer said this makes it more difficult. Exactly. That's the purpose of it. That's the purpose. That is the whole purpose, man. Use your brains. Stop letting people tell you shit and then you go and jump on somebody's comment section and repeat it. And for you to even come to the conclusion that pound for pound, like I don't care who you think wins. My reason for doing this, I explained it to you. It's not to lean towards Usyk or Tyson. Already, like I told you, there's people, a lot of people I don't think Usyk would have beat. I said that shit a long time ago, and I say it now. But I don't want to dwell on that because it's like, no, for me to say it, it's not directed at people saying he's an all-time great. I'm not here to debate that. I don't care how people see it. If you think Usyk is the greatest of all time, hey, I don't care. That's not what my position is. I want you guys, like I said, to start using your own brains, man, and start thinking before you start speaking. Everything don't need an immediate reaction, like right away. Oh, I know who. No, you don't know who to won. If Holyfield never fought Mike Tyson, it doesn't matter. All that bullshit about he was a prime Mike. Holyfield wasn't in his prime either. And if they never would have fought, and if Lennox Lewis would have never fought Mike Tyson, the majority of the people would have said Mike would have knocked him out. And I know this because before the fights happened, everybody said Mike was going to knock out Holyfield. They say he was going to knock out Lewis. Nobody thought Lewis could win. As dominant as Lewis was, nah, man, he ain't going to take a punch from Mike. Yo, Hakeem Rahman knocked him out. Yo, man, Oliver McCall knocked him out. But they never mentioned they had rematches, and he made McCall, he helped McCall make up his mind to quit, and he knocked out Hakeem Rahman. So he avenged his 2 losses. Now, what criteria was you using? Well, shit, if Rahman could knock him out and McCall could knock him out, what you think Mike gonna do to him? That's the criteria y'all use. How wrong were you? What criteria did you use to say Mike was going to beat Holyfield? So, you see what I'm saying? And my point, if the fights never happened, 90-something% of the people would have said Mike would have destroyed both of them. So am I making it more clear for y'all to understand what I'm saying? Because we're not going to solve who would have won in fantasy fights. We can only give you what we think. This shit is fucking irrelevant. Because my position is not to sit here and try to claim supremacy for another fighter. Fuck that. I don't glaze these motherfuckers. Fuck all of them as far as I'm concerned. We're doing boxing talk. We're looking at the real side of things. You know, like you go to an amusement park, you go to you having fun, you out there on the beach, on the slides, on the rides. Okay, this is the business side of it. This is the shit you don't see. You understand what I'm saying? That's what we're doing here. Let's get to what's real. This is what, like the shit that makes the park and these places available for you to make it possible for them to be there. That's what this is. We got to think, man. We got to stop repeating shit people say. I never do that shit. That's why I said a lot of times, y'all know it. As soon as something happened, everybody quit the video. And I'm like, nah, something else is going to happen. Let me hold off. And it always happens that way. Y'all have no idea how many times I have to scrap videos. I have no idea. So it's like, no, okay, something already happened. So, okay, cool. Nah, let me scrap that. But anyways, yeah, so we talking about what makes a legend and all that, man. Bro, it has to be, look, what varies is a thing like certain fighters came in at a later, like years later, like one guy might have went pro at 20, another guy might have went pro at 25, or things like that. Somebody been boxing since they was 8 years old. Another guy started boxing at 17. Stuff like that. You know what I mean? So there's different things people gonna look at where the variation of different, like what's different in these fighters' careers, stuff like that. People gonna look at, but you still gotta use the same criteria. Some fighters might have a better resume, but they might not be able to beat the guy that they have a better resume than. But when you've beaten those guys, then that's stupid. That's all. Now that kills that. But the eye test is still going to vary. Everybody's not going to see things the same way. But like, I look at guys that look real flashy. Like, look, for example, when I showed you that clip of Ray Leonard was that dude. I told you, plain and simple. But Ray Leonard threw all them punches and not one of them fucking punches landed. And you hear the crowd oohing and ahhing. That's none of that shit landed. It looked, like I said, it looked good for the cameras, but nothing landed. And you think Floyd gonna stand there and take that? Just, oh shit, what do I do now? The best defensive fighter of all times. The most all around complete, know how to put shit together. See, explosiveness is always what y'all think win. Like for example, when I watch Roy Jones fight Richard Hall, right? Look at how many clean blows Roy Jones hit Richard Hall with. And he knocked him down like twice in the first round. But I'm saying, look at them wild haymakers and women. You know why he was able to do that and not get counted? Because Richard Hall was not a good fighter. He was not a good fighter. And you know what kept him from going down a lot of times? Because he's naturally a bigger guy than Roy Jones. You understand what I mean? So what was knocking him down was he didn't see the shots coming. And boom, okay, think about it. Roy jumped on him. The ref stopped it. Richard Hall's no, right? He was getting his ass whooped. But this is not a good fighter. So my point is, when you watch Roy did what he was supposed to do. He went in and put on the show. He performed. Yeah. Look at the caliber of fighter. Do you understand what I'm saying? This dude wasn't a good fighter. Have you ever heard or seen any other Richard Hall fight other than the Roy Jones fight? There you go. So my point. These dudes just completely disappear because who were they? Just a Roy Jones opponent. Was he worth a shit? What did he accomplish? Go look up Richard Hall's resume, and I bet you go, this motherfucker wasn't shit. Go pull up some Richard Hall fights. This is what I'm saying. So my point with all of this shit is, when we start looking at who fought who, like example, why do it never cross your mind that you never knew that Duran lost to Kirkland Lang and he was only 30 years old? So every legend only lost because they were old. Why I bring up Mike Tyson getting his ass with the 23 by Buster? Because everybody say Mike started losing when he got old. No bullshit. His first loss, he was 20-3. Here go the excuses. I don't want to hear nothing about what happened in I don't want to hear none of that shit. Holyfield lost his mom before a fight. Lost his brother before a fight. You wouldn't even hear about that shit till years later. He went in and did what he had to do, man. Win, lose, or draw, Holyfield never make no excuses. And that's where I'm saying, we're not sitting up here talking about what Jim Lampley said. I don't give a fuck what none of them say. I could give a flying fuck what any of them motherfuckers say. They are people with opinions just like us. That's all. And the thing with me is, like I said, I don't lean towards anybody. I'm just going to be honest about what I think. That's why you guys be saying shit like, but I thought you liked him as a fight. Yeah. So what? Am I supposed to be biased? I'm telling you what's real. That's the direction that I'm in, and that I would like to see people on my channel and understanding what's real. Let's not, look, you can't sit here and complain about motherfuckers being biased. Y'all come on my channel telling me how biased boxing ego is, and Bruce Van used to be now Bruce Van starting to bullshit it, all these names. Okay. But if you come on this channel with the same shit, you can't complain about a motherfucker and you doing the same shit. So no, it ain't about favoritism, man. And like I said, man, I know factually, I know if fucking Roy Jones, even like when he fought against Tarver, who the fuck saw Tarver? Who saw that coming? Which one of you motherfuckers said I knew Tarver was gonna win? Y'all even know who the fuck Tarver was. Tyson Fury never fights Usyk. 90-something% of the people say Tyson's too big, too strong. Tyson would have did this. Mike Tyson never fights Holyfield. Mike would have destroyed Holyfield. Too strong. Mike was too fast. Mike was this and that. And this is not even a prime Mike, but this is not even a prime Holyfield either. And that's what I'm saying. But when you can still compete at the highest level, how the fuck you gonna say Mike Tyson was greater than Evander Holyfield? How? And he beat the motherfucker twice. Yeah, but they wasn't in their prime. Okay, you don't know that Mike Tyson would have beat him in his prime. That's the shit I'm saying, what makes me laugh. The same dude that knocked Mike Tyson out, Holyfield knocks him out in 3 rounds. Yeah, but see, that's that part right there. Take the yeah, but and shove it back in your fucking throat and swallow that shit and don't let it come out again. That part right there is always a yeah, but. Stop it, man. Holyfield got a way better resume than Mike Tyson. Which means not only is he fucking used to fighting stiffer competition, but he also beat some of the same guy that he lost to. Like a Michael Moorer. And we know the Michael Moorer story. Look at who Holyfield fought and look at who Mike Tyson fought. That shit is not even close. So stop with the excuses, man. Because if you washed up, then you got to know when to retire. Ain't nobody else's fault that you keep fighting. So no, we're not going to go with that. That's my point. Same thing. Oh, but when Thomas Hearns at I don't want to hear about 147. What he did at 147 was at 147. What he did at 160 was at 160. 75, cruiserweight, plain bottom line. Because all you basically saying is, all right, then how many wins and losses you got after we consider you being washed up, we got to take all that away. So a motherfucker could have been, 55-5, but now all of a sudden, he was 30-0. He lost 5 for, he's 30-0. Oh, we went back to his prime years. Come on, man, stop it. Stop it. So let's just say, for example, if he would have got knocked out in the 3rd round by somebody else other than Marvin Hagler, would y'all have said that same exact year? Would y'all have said the better man won if it wasn't Marvin Hagler, or would y'all made the excuse that Hearns is not the same anymore? See, think, y'all. Let's start with these fucking excuses. All this legendary shit, I say we just do this. We keep this shit within people's respective generations. Why? Fantasy fights don't prove shit. We just have our opinions. It's really simple. And when you sit back and look at things from a mature, honest standpoint, this shit is all clear to see. But when you look at shit and you just got just even a little bit of stubbornness to, yeah, but I want to say Mike is better. Nah, but I want to say Usyk is better. But it doesn't change anything, man. Legends become legends by fighting legendary fights, by doing things that people gonna remember. So even if you're not fighting the very best guys, but you're able to entertain the fans, they'll remember that. But you can't sit here and say one guy didn't fight nobody, then you got a whole other guy that barely fought anybody as well, but he was more entertaining, but against lesser opposition. You can't you can't do that and not be a hypocrite. And that's why I tell y'all need to stop going on these other guys' channels complaining. If you're going to go on their channels, just listen to what they got to say, even if you don't agree with it. And then you want to come back on this channel and talk about it, okay, cool. But don't come here crying because they block you, because I block motherfuckers too for saying stupid shit. Motherfuckers think they're going to come on your channel and tell you what to talk about, what not to talk about, or you're wrong. Because, fuck you, you're out of here. You're going to tell somebody that they're wrong for having an opinion. But yet, I give you motherfuckers facts. And even when I give you my opinion, like, for example, when somebody tell you, yeah, but Cotto got knocked out and Cotto did. Okay, now look at who Cotto lost to, and then look at who he won against. Now, don't you feel stupid when you say he's not a fucking all-time great? And then motherfuckers that he clearly won, and didn't even struggle with him, clearly beat them. But they're all-time greats, and he's not. Right. Make that make sense, y'all. This is what I'm talking about. We call that shit down the middle. That's what it's about. We don't do sucker shit over here. All right? Talk to me in the comment section. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate on people, and I will catch y'all on the next video.